Hi students, this is Miss Diana. In this video, we'll see about Fire and Ice from class 10 English. Hello bro, do you know about Robert Frost? Robert Frost was the most popular poet of 20th century. He is a well-known modern poet.
Yes, Robert Frost's chief concern is with man. The focus in his poetry is on man's position, attitude, and especially on his feelings.
You're right. Many Americans recognize his name, the titles of and the lines from his best-known poems, and even his face and the sound of his voice.
Robert Frost reveals a good deal about his conception of universe and external reality of his poetry. Man is limited both in his intellectual power and his awareness and understanding.
And he got many awards. American Academy of Arts and Letters Gold Medal for Poetry, 4 Pulitzer Prize for Poetry, Robert Frost Medal, Pauline Prize, and Congressional Gold Medal.
Yes, his famous works are Fire and Ice, Mending Wall, Birches, Out, Nothing Gold Can Stay, Home Burial, The Road Not Taken.
Yes, his full name is Robert Lee Frost and he was born on March 26 in 1874 at San Francisco, California in US, and he died on January 29, 1963 at the age of 88 at Boston, Massachusetts in US. And he was a poet and playwright and he had 6 children. Now we see the poem. Fire and Ice is a short poem written by Robert Frost. The poem expresses the idea of that the world will end someday, either by fire or by ice. Here the poet has compared fire and ice with the self-destructing emotions of human being. The Fire and Ice poem beautifully described how humans let their emotions rule over them. They have no control over their desires. In this poem, the poet expresses the two ways in which the world may end. Some people say that the world will end by fire, while others say that will end by ice. The poet says that he is aware about the fiery desires of human emotions, so he will favor those who say that the fire will end the world. Then the poet rethinks again and imagines, if the world has to die twice, then ice has the capability, similar to fire, to destroy the whole world. The poet compares fire and ice with the self-destructive nature of human beings. According to the poet, fire stands for desire, greed, and lust. There is no end to such emotions. The more humans try to fulfill them, the more rapidly these emotions spread, similar to fire. These feelings often engulf human life and they get wrapped in them. As a result, people become egotist, selfish, and cruel. On the other hand, the poet describes ice as the rigid, rough, and hateful side of human emotions. People become harsh and do not care about the emotions or feelings of others. They are indifferent to others' happiness and sorrow. Thus, the poet says that since ice and fire both are growing with such rapid speed, the world will end soon, either by fire or by ice. The poem conveys a beautiful message that human emotions rule over them. If humans do not control their emotions, the world will end soon. This poem has 2 stanzas. First stanza is, some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. Okay, here the poet considers the age-old question of whether the world will end in fire or in ice. He is analyzing about the end of the world. The poet provides and deals with 2 possible causes for the end of the world. Both the 2 reasons contrast each other and are equally opposite to each other. Okay, and on one side of the debate are those people who are in favor of fire. They believe that it will be the heat and the passion which will lead the humanity and the world to end. On the other side of the debate are those who favor ice and feel that it will be the ice which will freeze the world. In other words, either deep heat or fire under the earthbirds will lead to natural calamities like volcano eruptions or earthquake, etc., which will one day end the world, or the melting of the ice from the snowy mountains due to global warming will shrink the world, and one day the entire world will die of the icy water. So, Frost is providing a powerful statement on the subject of greed and jealousy. He is saying that above all else, even hatred, which is the trait of humanity, is most likely to lead to its demise. To Frost, desire represents the greatest problem that the world faces. Desire is a kind of intense love or want that focus people on getting and possessing and acquiring. This kind of desire can lead people to distraction. And now we see the second stanza. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for distraction eyes is also great and would suffice. Here the poet is very much sure of the destruction of the humanity. He first talks about the destruction caused by fire, and in case this fails, then ice will result into hatred that will end humanity one day. Frost goes on to discuss in a more understood manner the power of hate, which is symbolized in the poem by ice. Hate, according to the speaker, is just as powerful as desire. While desire consumes quickly, hate is just as great and powerful. In fact, by ending the poem with the concept of hate, Frost directs the reader to the shy yet restrained devastation that hate can produce. Hate can occur and finger in people's minds and hearts for years, sometimes even lifetimes. Hate consumes the hater even more than the person or group hated. It can destroy the lives. Hate is destructive and sinful. Hate is presented as having the ability to lead to the destruction of the world if it were to happen for the second time. Again, providing a powerful warning against this human fallacy. Through this poem, the poet is trying to say is we should control our emotions, even our desire, our greed, our lust, or hatred, war, everything. Thank you, students.